very serious question I need to ask all of you. How many of you really have Advent on your mind? Have you noticed that the church seems to be telling us, prepare, get ready, wait, anticipate, but don't start anything till December 24th. But what's really happening out there in the real world and in your families? Black Friday, Christmas trees, carols, concerts, online shopping beyond what anybody has ever expected. People camped out at the mall and on the strip. And I'll bet you, if you were honest, how many of you have your credit cards already maxed out? Everywhere we look, everyone seems to be in full-blown Christmas mode. So how do we get Advent on our mind? If we listen to Isaiah in the very first reading, Isaiah reminds us that the future is a world of possibility. Beyond anything that we can even imagine. All the nations will be gathered in peace, living for the well-being of others. God's word will mediate all disputes. Nations will turn their swords into plows. Complete disarmament. Quite a vision, isn't it? And what would we say to ourselves right now? But this has never happened. This could never happen in our world. God's dream for the world is much larger than any of our expectations. Anything that we could dream of or imagine or believe is possible. The problem is that it's not about when this will happen or what will happen, but rather how this can happen in our world. So maybe on this first Sunday of Advent, we need to remember, above all, that God is present. God is already here. Isn't that the story of Christmas? God with us, Emmanuel. God is present. We don't need to wait for God. God is here. Sometimes we just have to open our eyes and our heart to be able to see the reality of God in our life. So our gospel says, stay awake. Stay awake. We need to live in that presence of God. We need to be aware of God's presence. We need to live the Christian life now. So we need to be awake to God's presence, and we need to change the meaning of the present time. How do we change the meaning of the present time? For ourselves. We need to change our relationships and how we live with each other. When? Now. We need to change our attitudes to how we do the world out there. When? Now. We need to be able to change the way we live in our homes. When? Now. We need to change the way we live and treat our families, our spouses, and our children. When? Now. We need to change the way we treat those that we go to school with, in the hallways, on the bus, in the cafeteria. When? Now. We need to change the way we see those that we call our enemy. And when do we need to do that? We need to do that now. So Advent gives us the time to close that gap. To close the gap between who we say we are and how we are in here. And then to close the gap between who we say we are in here and how we are out there. So Advent invites our presence, P-R-E-S-E-N-C-E, not our presence, P-R-E-S-E-N-T-S. When? Now. God bless you.